Hello guys, today I'll be talking about the sum and difference identities. And for these, you're going to need a unit circle and the identities. You can easily search these identities up on Google, just type in sum and difference identities and it will show you all of them. And so, one thing you also need is a calculator. I'm using a scientific calculator. So, the three problems I'll be doing are sine, cosine, and tangent. So the first problem will be sine 7 pi over 12. So the first thing you have to do in order to make it easier is to change this radian into degree. So in order to do that, you take 7 pi over 12 and you multiply it by 180 degrees over pi. So this will cancel out the pi's, and 180 times 7 is equal to 1,260 divided by 12 will give me 105 degrees. So this will equal 105 degrees. Okay, so we got the degree. Next, we take out our unit circle, and 105 degrees, we search what plus what equals 105 degrees. So if we look here, how much was 60 plus 45 equal? So 60 plus 40 was 100, plus 5 gives us 105. So 60 degrees plus 45 degrees gives us 105 degrees. So if we see here, sine (60 degrees) plus 45 degrees is what equals 105 degrees. So the next step that we have to do is look at our identities. And if we look at our identities, we see that sine here is 60 plus 45. So it's sine added. We look here and we see that sine and added gives us this. So we have to plug in 60 and 45. 60 is going to be A and 45 is going to be B. And we plug that for every single A and B. So if we plug it all in, we will see that sine 60 plus 45 is equal to sine 60 cosine 45 plus sine 45 cosine 60. So if you look here, sine 60 cosine 45 plus sine 45 and cosine 60. So now that we got all of this down, we will look at the unit circle and see that what is sine 60. So sine 60 is, so there's 60 degrees here, and cosine is half and sine is root 3 over 2. So we take root 3 over 2 and replace it for sine 60. And then we also do that for cosine 45. So 45 degrees is here, and know that cosine is root 2 over 2. So it's going to be root 2 over 2. And then we add that to sine 45. Sine 45 is root 2 over 2. And cosine 60 is 1/2. So this is all going to be multiplied. So we see that sine 60 is root 3 over 2. Cosine 45 is root 2 over 2. And sine 45 is root 2 over 2. And cosine of 60 is 1/2. So now we look at this and we simply simplify. So root 3 times root 2 gives us root 6 over 4. And then added to root 2 over 4. So, and now we see here that it just simplifies down to root 6 plus root 2 over 4. So, this is how to solve for sine 7 pi over 12. Now, this is going to be your answer. It's going to be the exact answer. And so the next problem will be cosine. And that will be cosine 19 pi over 12. So here we do the same exact steps. We multiply this by 180 over pi in order to get degrees. And so pi would cancel, and 180 times 19, 180 times 19 divided by 12 gives us 285. So this all equals to 285 degrees. So 285, just let it focus. So 285 degrees, cosine of 285 degrees. So that will equal, so cosine of 285, so what plus what equals 285? So if you look here, 150 plus 135 will give us 285. So that's what we're going to use. So it's going to be cosine 150 plus 135. And so now we look at our identities and we see that cosine A plus B. That's our identity that we need, because since it's cosine and it's added. So we just plug in 150 for A and 135 for B. So cosine of A is going to be 150. So cosine 150 and cosine 135 subtracted sine 150, and looks like to squeeze it in, and sine 135 over here. So now we see that cosine 150, we take out our unit circles and we look. So cosine 150 is going to be negative root 3 over 2. Cosine of 135 is going to be negative root 2 over 2, subtracted by sine 150, which is going to be 1/2, and sine 135 is going to be root 2 over 2. So these are all multiplied, and these are multiplied, and they're all subtracted. So negative root 3 times negative root 2 gives us root 6 over 4, subtracted by root 2 over 4. So, and then that simply all simplifies down to root 6 minus root 2 over 4. So cosine of 19 pi over 12 is equal to this radian of root 6 minus root 2 over 4. That's how you get this. Now, the last problem will be a tangent. Tangent is one of the more difficult ones. So the problem that I'll be working on is tangent 17 pi over 12. So we do the same steps. Multiply by 180 over pi in order to get into degree mode. And that will equal all to, so 17 times 180 divided by 12 gives us 255. So this equals to 255 degrees. Now, we look at the unit circle and see what plus what equals 255. So if we look here, and we see that let's see what would work. 135 plus 120, that should equal 255. So then tan 135 plus 120 gives us 255 degrees. So now we got this. We look at our identities. And the identities show us that, so tangent 135 plus, so it's tangent and added. So tangent and added gives us 10a plus 10b over 1 minus 10a times 10b. So we all plug that in, and we get tan 135 plus tan 120 over 1 minus tan 135 tan 120. So now we see that we got this formula, or then we can start to solve for each individual tan 135 and tan 120. So tan 135, so tan is equal to sine over cosine. So if you look at 135, it's going to be root 2 over 2 over negative root 2 over 2. And I already solved for that. And so the answer for this tan 135 is going to be negative 1. So this is going to be equal to negative 1 plus, and tan 120 is going to be root 3 over 2 over negative half. So I also solved for that beforehand, and that would be equal to negative root 3. And so this will be over 1. So negative and negative 1 will give us plus 1, and tan 120 would be negative root 3. So this will be equal to negative 1 subtract root 3, and 1 plus 1 and negative 3, so it's going to be 1 plus, or 1 subtract root 3. So this should be your answer. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. So tan, sine, cosine, basically all the same procedure, just different identities. And if you use the inner circle and after much practice, this will be very simple to do. Alright, have a great day.